Hello everybody, my name is Christylize and welcome back to the Legend Survival Season 1 Legends Breakdown Series. This is Episode 3. If you have missed any of the previous episodes, we have already talked about the Scout and the Bard. You're going to want to check those out as they are important for Season 1, the playthrough we're doing right now on my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Huntsman. It is the first of the combat specialists and the first legend that I came up with for Legend Survival. Now, what better way to talk about the first combat specialist than to have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Clum, join us for this video.
Hey guys, it's Clum here. You may recognize me as the Huntsman on Season 1 of Legend Survival. Up on the screen here is the Huntsman's card with all of his abilities, passive and active. The Huntsman gains adjacent chunks with hunting areas and Slayer Masters for free. Every 10 completed Slayer tasks awards an adjacent chunk unlock. The Huntsman gets bounty tokens whenever he kills 50 bosses of a specific boss encounter. And with that bounty token, you will roll from a pool of bosses to unlock the boss chunk for all of your party members. If a locked non-combat skill is required to kill that boss, the Huntsman unlocks those skills. His tertiaries include agility, thieving, main skills ranged, defense, woodcutting, prayer, fletching, hunter, and fishing.
Now, the Huntsman is an incredibly versatile class. Comparatively speaking, it's probably got the most utility-based kit than any other class in Legends. I don't say that to deter you from the other combat specialists, because they are pretty good, as you'll see throughout this series. However, it's important to really dig deep and look into what makes the Huntsman the Huntsman. For starters, just to kind of talk about the baseline idea, my inspiration for this class actually came from The Witcher, both the Netflix series and the video game series. And initially I wanted to call it a Witcher, but that would just kind of be way too tongue-in-cheek, don't you think? So I came up with Huntsman. To put it into simple terms, let's go line by line on this card and I'll show you guys exactly what you can expect when playing the Huntsman class. Adjacent chunks containing hunting areas and Slayer Masters are free. This should be relatively self-explanatory, but for those that don't know, there's several Slayer Masters. There are 9 Slayer Masters all throughout the world of Gielinor. There are several different hunting areas all throughout the map. These types of passive abilities help to make map traversal much faster in Legend Survival. And when a Slayer Master chunk is unlocked, the Legend will also select a Slayer Dungeon chunk to unlock during the same chunk unlock phase. There's 13 classified Slayer Dungeon chunks throughout Gielinor, according to the RuneScape wiki. However, there is some overlap when you start looking at the Slayer Caves as well. This is the biggest change that we've made so far to the Huntsman, and I really think that this just makes it even more refined. Initially, when we were looking at creating Huntsman, it was more so about completing Slayer tasks, and it was more so about getting just the free chunks from the hunting and the Slayer Masters. As we've progressed throughout the series, we have noticed that the Huntsman's passive unlocks for chunks are significantly lower than the current parties. We wanted to be able to give a buff to the Huntsman that would not only keep the original intent for this legend intact, but also give it some more sustainable chunk unlocks. This is where that Slayer Dungeon change has come into play. Every 10 completed Slayer tasks awards a chunk unlock for this legend. This is incredibly useful, and I think it plays into the fact that you'll be getting Slayer Dungeon chunks for free as well. It's important to note that when 10 Slayer tasks are completed, you immediately enter the chunk unlock phase. If you're unfamiliar with the chunk unlock phase, I will leave a link to the full Legend Survival Season 1 rule set breakdown, where you'll be able to find all of these phrases and what they mean. A common question we've gotten about Huntsman is, what about the difference between wilderness tasks and normal Slayer tasks? There is none. You can complete 5 Slayer tasks in the wilderness and 5 Slayer tasks with Vanica or any other Slayer Master outside of the wilderness. That still counts as 10. Let's talk about the all-important token for the Huntsman, the bounty token. In my opinion, one of the most useful tokens for a single legend. Tokens throughout Legend Survival, a lot of the focus for them tend to be helping teammates or helping yourself progress faster. The bounty token really hones into the core aspect of this class. For every 50 consecutive boss kill count you get, the Huntsman randomly selects a boss from a wheel of bosses. I'll put the wheel up now. It's important to note that 50 boss kill count is for individual bosses. You can't get 25 kill count at Wintertot and then get 25 Temperos kill count and count that as 50. Each time you kill a boss in the game, there will be a chat box notification that shows you your kill count. You can also check your kill count by using the !KC command in RuneScape. Now, in order to randomly select the boss from the wheel, the legend must meet quest requirements to access the boss. For example, you can't kill Vorkath unless you've completed or at least done the steps up to completion for Dragon Slayer 2. You can't kill Barrows or roll Barrows until you have unlocked Moritania, which requires Priest in Peril. It's important for the Huntsman to keep track of the quests that they've completed, the regions that they have unlocked, and the boss chunks that they have unlocked through other means, because this can significantly change how your bounty roll works. There are dozens and dozens of RuneScape bosses throughout the game. We have attempted to categorize them into 4 different categories. You have wilderness bosses, skilling bosses, Slayer bosses, and sporadic bosses. I will leave a link to the RuneScape wiki that outlines exactly where these bosses fall into these different categories. Anytime the Huntsman goes to roll their bounty token, they will first need to check their chunks and make sure they haven't unlocked any new chunks that include bosses that are on the wheel. Any bosses that have been unlocked outside of the bounty roll will need to be removed from the overall bounty roll. We mainly do this because it would be really dumb to roll Obor if you have already unlocked the chunk for Obor. Edgeville is a relatively useful chunk, and I'm sure a lot of the legends throughout the way will already have Edgeville unlocked prior to bounty getting rolled. The big ticket item on this roll would be skilling bosses. Skilling bosses have multiple rule facets surrounding them. In the official Legend Survival rules, we have 3 different skilling bosses that show up: Wintertot, Temperos, and Guardians of the Rift. Now, Guardians of the Rift, according to Jagex, is considered more of a minigame than a boss. However, the functionality of Guardians of the Rift leans heavily into a Group Ironman aspect, and it fits the many facets that we see in Wintertot and Temperos. So we've chosen to include Guardians of the Rift as a skilling boss. If a legend unlocks a chunk containing a skilling boss, all skills required for killing the boss are unlocked inside the boss zone only. The big caveat here is that if the bounty token is used to unlock that chunk, the rest of the team, excluding the Huntsman, will be able to train exclusively inside of Wintertot. But the Huntsman can train those skills inside or outside the boss zone if the boss is unlocked with the bounty token. It is incredibly powerful. Now, the Huntsman has several useful main skills. They start with ranged and defense. They get woodcutting, prayer, fletching, hunter, and fishing. Hunter and fishing are incredibly good because you're going to be able to get a bunch of raw resources that are valuable to your team. They're also relatively quick to train. The 2 tertiary skills that the Huntsman has is agility and thieving. You can unlock one of them by completing 5 chunks, and you can unlock the second one by completing 15 chunks. The starting items include a short bow and bronze arrows, a knife, a bronze dagger, a small fishing net, and a bronze axe. It's important to note that the Huntsman can only use dagger archetype weapons up until attack and strength are unlocked on this legend. So once the Huntsman reaches 500 total level, if they choose to unlock attack and strength, they can now use weapons outside of the dagger archetype to train their melee stats. If you're interested in seeing more gameplay for the Huntsman, or have any questions regarding the class, how it works on the roster, make sure you check out Legends Season 1. Look forward to Clum releasing Episode 3 of Legends Survival Season 1 on Monday, the day after this video is released. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching.